Hey everybody, this is John. Welcome to the free video. And, interesting week. We ended up pretty much, if we come back here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trading days. So essentially, last week had the big flush, bounce to resistance, and we've kind of rolled over. It could have ended a lot uglier for bulls, although it was actually pretty ugly. But it was looking uglier right here. I was actually looking to see if we could actually close below 1900. In that case, I'd want to stay heavily short all weekend. Instead, we had this burst of short covering and it just kind of ended up going kind of light into the weekend. So is there anything here? And of course, it's a 3-day weekend, right? I want to relax this weekend. I don't want to worry about where the S&Ps are going to open up. So at this point, I mean, again, the main thing here is that to me, the biggest surprise would be that we don't test that low and take it out. To me, that's just the path that we're on. Like any down market, it's never obvious, and you kind of just need to be positioned for it or you're going to miss it. Okay, so what are some ways to position for it? So one way is by selling premium. Directional can get hurt pretty bad. So this is one of the trades that I had done here on the NDX, which right now is not working, but we'll cover that here in a second. The first thing we did was early in the week, we sold a 4,200 straddle call on the put, and ended up making, I think it was like $2,300 on that, which was interesting because it was just one. It was like we sold that one for like 50 bucks and sold that one for like 60 bucks or something like that. And then today, as the market was kind of rolling down, I sold the 4170 call for $61 and bought the 270 as protection. Okay, and so it's about a 1-to-1 risk reward trade. I think we sold it for 42 bucks, so maybe 1.25 to 1. And you can see I'm down on that trade. But the idea with this is that next week, and how this works on this, is that if you go 4170 plus the $42 credit, if we close at like 2102. Okay, or lower, if I did my math right, that'll be a break. At 2102 would be a break-even trade. Anything below that, you actually start making money on. And of course, if we close below 4150, it expires worthless. So I like that trade, and I like it that there's a long 3-day weekend, and some of that premium can get sucked out. And then the other position I like here is Goldman Sachs. I'm pretty bearish on Goldman Sachs technically. Okay, I mean, they're a good company. They're going to stick around. For this, I have, this position looks kind of confusing because it's not grouped together. But so I sold the 180 calls for $5.47, bought the 190s as protection to limit my overall risk, okay, and then bought the 185 puts, and those were about break even into the close. So let's take a look at that chart, see what it looks like. So there's a couple things here I like about it. And first of all, this tree line, we're back below that tree line. So at this point, you can see here that we bounced at the tree line, came back up, and then once you break through it, then typically it opens up the door for a retest of here and even potentially the snow line, okay? And I like that the financials are so weak here. If we look at XLF, I mean, the market is not gonna roll over without the financials, okay? And the financials here are essentially leading the charge. It's bearish for the market, and honestly, it's bearish for Goldman Sachs. So I like it. I like the risk reward, and I'm going to stick in with that one over the weekend. So other than that, there's really nothing positive to report in the markets. GoPro is just in a death spiral. It's about to take out, looks like it's IPO low. That would be bad. And that's about it there. And then the last thing I want to look at was the bond market. And you can see there was a little bit of a bid into close. So we kind of had bonds firming up here, and overall not good for stocks. All right. As we go into the weekend, we do have a high trend reading of 3.17. And remember, it's a long weekend. So it is possible that we could get a little pop-up on Tuesday. But at this point, I am selling rallies. All right. Hope it helps, and we'll see you at the next update. And last but not least, this has been an interesting trading year. It's been a combination of quiet, a combination of volatile, a combination of flash crashes. And one of the biggest questions I'm getting from people like outside the industry, like people I just hang out with and stuff like that, they're like, all right, and I'll show them my account. And they're like, how did you turn that $150K account that you started with at the beginning of the year into $650,000 with everything that's going on? I mean, are you doing crazy day trades? What strategies are you doing, et cetera, et cetera? And so it was interesting because I kind of went through and explained it to them. And of course, it's always difficult from a trading perspective, speaking through it to a non-trader. But it was interesting because it forced me to actually go through and review my trading journal for the entire year. And it really made it stand out like, wow, these are the setups that actually are working the best in these markets. Like there's setups that actually aren't working in these markets. And over time, it was just like I kind of stopped doing them, but it was subconsciously, but it's going like, wow, I got to stop doing that and start doing more of this. And that was interesting. And so it kind of goes back to combining like, the goal of trying to be consistent in any market. And what do you do when things start getting volatile? I mean, do you have to change things around to take advantage of it? And of course, the answer is yes, you're going to get annihilated. So what I'm going to be talking about is how to create consistent profits, whether the markets are trading up, down, or sideways. Okay, because at the end of the day, if you do well in an uptrend, but not well in sideways or well in down, you can't trade for a living. You can only trade when there's an uptrend, okay, and vice versa. Some people like do great during a down market, but always get killed on rallies. So how to keep your risk small when the markets seem completely unpredictable, okay? But along with this too are just kind of some tricks to knowing how the markets kind of work during these times. It's like, yes, of course you want to be short now, or no, be careful. We could get a short covering rally here. Easy ways to establish trades for extra income part-time while you work, okay? And that was the biggest question I got. They're like, this is great, but do you have to sit in front of a screen all day? And the answer is absolutely not. How to find high growth stocks that are perfect for option trades, and how to start doing all this tomorrow. So it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Again, this will be September 9th, okay, at 8 o'clock p.m. East Coast time. You can do your name, your email, free webinar, and we'll see you there.